alcohol poisoning, when somebody's doing that, they lose all sense of perspective, all sense of time and space. They become disoriented. All they know is that they're in the grip of their own confused thinking as they lurch around the place. And he's just going to say, Jerusalem is going to be like this and actually drive the nations mad. It's going to be like the nations are walking home from the pub and all of a sudden the lamppost out and attacks them. They just won't actually, they will be driven into a state of circumstances where they will have no sense of perspective. But verse 3 says, a burdensome stone for all people. Anyone who tries to burden themselves with it is going to be cut in pieces. And that includes people from all the earth that will be gathered against her. So, physically heavy. And if you know anything about Jerusalem, limestone, exceptionally rough. You can't just handle it. You will rip the skin off your hands. Way beside you if you drop it on your foot, or equally bad, someone else's foot. And so physical injury comes from this. Now, against that, the rest of the chapter, after verse 3, starts to describe, from verses 4 through to 10, the disastrous results that will happen in terms of the battle and what starts to happen between nations of the earth gathered against Jerusalem and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Now we're going to skip that for the sake of time and also go straight past chapter 13, the following chapter, and go to the start of chapter 14. And the reason why we're going to do that is because where the action really starts is in chapter 14. But before we get there, I think that we need to spend some time actually just saying, why on earth is it that Jerusalem is a burdensome stone that's going to be a problem to all of the nations? It's going to be the subject of international concern. It's going to be the subject of international siege and attack, right? And then it says in chapter 12 and 14 that God is going to take action against them. Why is this? I mean, Jerusalem is a place where you wouldn't go unless you had relatives, or you were really interested in the ideals that it represents as the spiritual headquarters of the three major world religions, right? Two of which encompass 2/3 of the people on this planet, and some of them take it very seriously. And nobody can take anything serious in this global village without having a ripple effect, and everyone starts to get drawn into it. So what is it? Well, what it is originally Palestine was the section that you see on the map on the left that's all green, and then the United Nations, being excellent at compromise and usually making a pig's breakfast out of it, decided, well, we'll give some land to Israel and some land to the Palestinians. What we'll do is we'll actually divide it so that basically Israel can't rise up against the Palestinians, divide and conquer. And instead it turned out very much that when 6 different Arab armies come against Israel, right at the start of its existence, when there was hardly any Israelis, when they had hardly anything to their name, the world's still just going, we can't understand how they managed to survive the War of Independence, let alone suddenly in 1967, again, when they were caught off guard, how did they actually win in 6 days against all odds? I'll tell you why, because God had said so. But as a consequence, you see on the map that's got the green on the right-hand side is that there is a blob of green, and that is known as the West Bank today. Right? And then you see a very small sliver of green over to the left of that far right map, and that is the Gaza Strip. So the Palestinians have got 2 pieces of land, very small, but Israel is not disconnected and disunited. The Palestinians are. Right? But then when we look at the map on the right-hand side, that is a representation of Israel. And you'll see in the middle of the map it says West Jerusalem, and you'll see a little bit to the right there's a funny shaped square. That is the most holy place to Jews, and it's the second most holy place to Islam. And the Pope's pretty interested as well. And don't forget the Russian Orthodox. And so everyone's interested in that. But that was never supposed to be Jews. And so the Jews are saying, we've been here for 3,000 years, but then we lost our land for some of it, but we